Good morning, I'm Stephanie Owen, and when I first read Garland's email inviting me to join her on the Canvas team, I thought, heck no, I am not asking people for money. But there was a part of me that was intrigued by the challenge. Ryan and I have always referred to this service as Money Sunday, and we frequently stayed away. So whether you're here intentionally or because you didn't realize it's Money Sunday, I'm glad you're here. It wasn't that we were averse to pledging, but just uncomfortable hearing and thinking about it, I guess. So thanks for showing up. It's okay that I, and maybe some of you, are a bit uncomfortable. When I was last up here talking about the City Reach experience, I shared that we learned about being a little bit uncomfortable as a good sign, because it means you are on your growing edge. Stewardship is love in action. Let's take a moment and think about how we have seen love in action in this community. Take a deep breath, let your energy drop back into your body, and see what comes up for you. For me, one thing that comes to mind is all of the effort, resources, and love that went into pivoting into the pandemic. In those early days, we felt such connection to all of you and this community as we gathered around our laptop. Those first online services served as a lifeline that helped bridge us into the new unknown that we're still bridging into. If you're willing, unless you hate this kind of stuff, I invite you to share what came to mind with someone seated near you or in the chat. Thank you. Next, I ask you to think about if you had unlimited resources, whether that was time, talent, or treasure, what would you want to make happen in our beloved community? So take a breath, drop into your body, and see what comes up about what you would want to make happen. How would you spend your unlimited resources to put love into action here? And again, if you're willing, I invite you to share with someone seated near you or in the chat. Thank you. We all have plenty of demands pulling on our resources, whether that's our time, talent, or treasure. How we use our resources says something about what we might find most valuable. If we aren't intentional about it, then we end up letting our resources be spent in ways that don't connect as fully to our values as we might want them to. This morning, my phone alerted me to my weekly screen time report, which is a frequent reminder that maybe I'm not spending my time as closely aligned to what's most important to me as I want to. By making a pledge, we're each signaling our commitment to each other and to this community that we belong to, and to the dream of what we believe it could become. During last week's service, I sat looking out the window, contemplating who came before me and who sat looking out that same wavy window and peering at that same common. I thought about the people who came before me, who took care of this place and each other so that it could be here to welcome me and my family. And I thought about the people that will come after me, that I want this place to be here for them so that they can find it and get what they need through this place of belonging, community, and commitment. By making a pledge, you're saying that you commit to be here next year. If each of us that feels a sense of belonging here makes a pledge that's significant for us, whatever that dollar amount is, then we are demonstrating that this is a place we value and a place where we belong and a place that we want to belong to us. Thank you.
what Stephanie said. I don't think you even need to hear the rest, but I'm going to go ahead and share with you what I've put together here. When I thought about the thing that was an act of love, I actually thought it was Garland taking on the pledge campaign and the whole business and the committee, and thank them all very much. I am not a member of that committee. Yeah, thanks, Colleen. But I am delighted to share my thoughts about love and service at First Parish. In the late spring of 1997, I was house hunting. Doug Snow and I and our 4 sons had been living in Pennsylvania and attending our nearest UU church about 25 miles from our home. Our Boston area real estate agent drove through Chelmsford. I was so impressed to see a UU church right there in the center of the town where I was looking at housing. Imagine that. As you can see, we did not have much experience with Massachusetts towns at that point. It sealed the deal, though, and we decided to live in Chelmsford. Looking back on our nearly 26 years as First Parish members living in Chelmsford, it was a wise decision. First Parish is as much our home as the 1965 vintage raised ranch house where we have lived this whole time. Like any home, First Parish requires upkeep. That's where pledges come in. We make and pay one every year and kick in a little extra as needed for things like elevators and random supplies. When we were raising children here, First Parish was the place where other non-relative grown-ups took an interest in and provided guidance to our children through various classes and activities. We have loved watching all the First Parish children grow and develop, and what a joy to see some of those same children, including some of our own, that one, raising their children in this community. Once we decided homeschool was going to be the best option for a then 13-year-old son, and we followed the homeschooling letter of the law in Massachusetts. One must report to the superintendent's office how the child is progressing through a rubric of actions, including appropriate socialization with age-related peers. We always referenced participation at First Parish as part of fulfilling that obligation. We described this as the state requiring that the child go to church. So, it worked. He graduated from college. Participating in music has always been a joy. Opportunities for social work, social justice work abound. Attending and leading courses for adults and young people brings fulfillment, growth, and sometimes laughs. For several years, I was an instructor of the Our Whole Lives, OWL, curriculum on sexuality for young teens. It contains 26 modules. 3 of them have very, very frank pen and ink drawings. These drawings are shared with parents in advance so they know what the young people will see if they decide they want them to participate. While showing these drawings to the young people, I heard one young person say to the other, "I can't believe we are looking at this." The other replied, "I can't believe we are looking at this with grown-ups in the room." Those young people are in their 30s today, and I believe some of them are parents. So, thoughtfully prepared sermons keep us grounded, aware, and connected to the broader life that surrounds us. Celebrations of life's milestones, a place and way to gather when we have lost a loved one. Community, connection, being able, to love and be loved by wonderful people. That is what our church provides. And sometimes you really need a well-trained, well-connected, paid clergy person to go to when life brings those, "Oh no, whatever am I supposed to do about this?" moments. Access to someone who can provide immediate triage with follow-up referrals to appropriate resources is something we cannot fully appreciate until in that moment. Some of us may never need that kind of support. Sometimes, merely knowing it is there, just in case, is all the support we need. We cannot buy love, but we can provide the means to make sure we all have a place to come to put love into action. Pledge early and pay promptly. Throw a little extra in the online or in-person plate whenever you can, and thank you for being here.
Good morning. My name's Joan Coyne, and I'm the chair of the standing committee this year. This is my third and last year on the standing committee, and it's been quite a ride for the past 3 years. But I can't tell you how happy I am after 3 years of COVID to see a full congregation in the sanctuary. But today we're here to talk about pledging. And I know that you know all the logical reasons to pledge, and I don't think I can add to any of that. So I'm here to just tell you why I pledge, because I think that's really all that I really can add to this. So on Facebook this past week, I've had a bunch of memories pop up from 12 years ago. 12 years ago this week, apparently, my youngest son was at floating hospital in Boston with a ruptured appendix. He was pretty sick, and I was posting updates every day to let everyone know what was going on. Dave and I were taking turns each night, staying overnight with him, and then going home to spend the night with our other 2 kids. And I have very vivid memories of my time in the hospital with my sick son, and no memories at all of what happened at home on my off days. But I do know that there was food in my house on those off days. Somebody got my other kid to school and back every day. I don't know who brought the food or who got my kid to school, but I know they belong to this church. And I know the reason that I don't have any memories of being at home was because I didn't have to worry about that. I knew that if I needed something, I just had to call. And actually, I was calling the Caring Connection, the people who conveniently lit the chalice this year. There was always somebody there if we needed something. And that's one reason why I pledge. Another reason is when I first started at this church, we had a Sunday night knitting group. We all got together and knit. And I remember one particular Monday night, one of my kids was going through something difficult, and we'd had a really, really bad day. And I almost didn't go, but Dave threw me out the door and said, "No, you need to go." And that night turned out to be, let's tell stories about the things our kids put us through night at knitting group. Not because I said anything. I didn't say a word that whole night. But the other women there just told stories about what their kids had done. And I just sat and listened. And it was what I really needed to hear. What I heard that night was I wasn't alone. And we would get through this, and this would pass. It's what you need to hear as a parent, and I was a pretty young parent at this point, and I needed to hear that. And those were words I would hear over and over again from different people in this congregation, from Ellen, from Dolores and Sadie, our previous DRE. This congregation helped me raise my children, and that's another reason why I pledge. More recently, I was in the church filling out some paperwork because I'm the standing committee chair. I was actually signing the contract to get the roof fixed. And I came upstairs just to ask Dolores a question about something unrelated. And I came in for a quick question, and we ended up talking for about 20 minutes. For those of you who don't know, my father-in-law passed away recently, and she knew that we'd just come back from a trip to see my mother-in-law. And we just talked for 20 minutes. And I just felt so much better when I came out of that. I didn't know I needed to go talk to her about that, but she did. And again, it was just the way that people here take care of you when you need it, whether you know it or not. So why do I pledge? Because this congregation matters to me, because it helped me raise my kids, because it's been here when I needed it, whether I knew it or not. And I just want to make sure that this congregation is here for all of you and for all of the people in the future. It's important to me. So please, if you can make a pledge of any amount makes a difference. I know we say that all the time, but now that I'm on standing committee, I really know that's true. And if you can't make a pledge, I just want to remind you that time and talent are the people who do Caring Connection. That's important too, just as important as anything else. This is a joint venture we have here. There are many ways to support First Parish. Please give as generously as you are able, however you are able. Thank you.